everybody. This is Mike Balzano, publisher of R&R, as well as the Experience Events. Welcome to Trade Talks, Unlocking the Experience. This is episode 12, and good friend today. I say this every week, but I like this guy a lot. I met him about a year ago, and we bonded, and I'm happy he's such a big part of the experience. He's a teacher, a leader, a podcaster, an IAQ expert, a former policeman. I may have tipped it up right there who it is. A speaker, exhibitor. And he is currently and formerly was an EMT. We'll talk about all of that. Longtime friend of the experience. Please welcome from NORMI, Mr. Lance Eisen. Welcome, Lance.
Thank you, Mike. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Yeah, we have a lot going on in both our companies right now and fun. But I want to first off just talk about. I mean, this whole series was meant to really kind of look at the people who've made a big difference to the experience. And you and Doug and everybody at NORMI are certainly one of them. Are you a New Jersey native by any chance?
Yes.
So you remain in New Jersey, is that correct?
Yes, I have. Well, my family is here, so it's kind of hard to move away from kids and grandkids.
They frown on that. I know. I know that we my wife and I came down to Florida a while ago, and I think that the grandkids is the thing that keeps people from snowbirding. The kids are one thing, but once those grandkids come around, now I'm not going anywhere, and I get it. So good for you.
Yeah, it just makes it easier and it's more sense. If they move away, well, then all bets are off. But
Exactly. So, well, I tell you, we met, like I said, last year, and you've got a great background, one that I think is wonderful for this. You started and maybe you could talk about this, Love. There's two things I want to talk about service-wise in general. People know you were a policeman. A lot of people know you were a policeman at Sergeant, but I didn't know you were an EMT. How long did you do that for?
Since 1975.
And you're still registered, correct?
Yeah, still involved with the volunteer organization.
What do you think? What drew you to that originally, starting out? So this is what I want to do.
You know what? As a kid, I had watched the ambulance come to my house quite a few times. My grandmother lived with us. I saw them helping people, and it just became kind of the norm, and it got my interest.
That's amazing. My grandma stayed with me till she passed away when she was 98. So I learned a lot of Italian like that. But you did that, and then you went right into being a police. Now that was 1975. You said you still do it, but in 1979 you decided to join the police force. Was it just the next logical step in your head, or no?
It was kind of strange. I mean, if you put yourself in the mindset of a 19-year-old, I was an EMT already. I was involved with emergency services. I was going to Rutgers University in a pre-medical program, and the opportunity came up where somebody said, "Hey, you want to drive a police car and carry a gun?" I was 19 years old. Sure. And I had taken some tests. I got hired, and I started a career that. They talk about pensions and stuff, and at 19, 20 years old, you get pension. What's that all about? And that was a blur. That's gone. So
yeah, for sure. I remember when they started talking about 401ks, and people like, "What is that? Some kind of football signal? I don't know what that means." And now you look back and like, "You're so stupid. Why don't you just start?"
The pension is there, which is the reason I stayed. It's just 25 years just blurred by.
Yes.
And I'll tell you what, that makes it even scarier. I retired almost 20 years ago.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
So
from law enforcement.
You achieved your rank was sergeant at the end, correct?
Correct.
I can see that. I can see you being the boss, being the sergeant of a staff. But
it was convenient. It worked.
A lot of people, this is the 12th episode of this, and it's funny you said the magic words already, and that you started that because you wanted to help people. And I could, I could see a lot of pre-med. We've had people that want to be attorneys and this, and that, and say, no, you know what? I want to do something else. And especially then that led into our industry. I mean, so you retired from the police force, and what moved you to kind of get involved in the restoration industry?
My story is very similar to the people that we deal with that have problems. 2 years before I retired from the police department, I wound up with pneumonia 4 times. And I kept going to doctors, specialists that, take these antibiotics, take more medication. Wasn't fixing the problem. I kept getting pneumonia. I started doing some research, and I took some training online about my living conditions, and I found my problem. It was in my air conditioning system.
I'm not
Well, I
smiling because
fixed
that's
it.
great news. Go ahead. I mean, I can
Yeah,
see where you're going with this.
I
Go on.
fixed it.
Yeah.
And, I started telling people, yeah, this is what I did. Their answer to me was, come check my house.
Mhm.
That became a full-time business when I retired.
No kidding.
Yeah, I actually had to hire 4 inspectors to work with me because it was so busy. And there was radio advertising and a lot of other things involved with that, but it became an industry business for me. And that's how I got into it. And 2 years after that, I wound up with the NORMI organization.
And you accidentally started a business. I love that. And the pneumonia problems went away when you got better air. I'm guessing, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
That's one.
the pneumonia went away. It was caused by a fungal infection, fungal pneumonia, and it was because of the conditions of my indoor environment, which set the stage for everything else.
Gotcha. And then you went to the right place because Normie is doing so many great things with IAQ and IAQ radio and everything else. And we're going to talk about that in a second. But I remember we talked about this offline, and I talked to Jeff Jones, the Microbial Warrior, about this too, specifically about COVID. He likes to talk about, and we found out it wasn't touching things or whatnot. It was everything, all the particles going through the air. And hopefully, if we have another chance at this, I'm preaching to the choir, I know. Hopefully, we won't have another chance at this. We probably will, and sadly, we'll do a better job of fighting that next time, right?
Oh, absolutely. COVID was kind of a game changer for this industry. I've been in it since 2004 with Normie since 2006. And we have been talking about indoor air quality. We've been talking about surface contact, the things you breathe. And people are like, yeah, okay, no big deal. And then COVID hits and everybody decides that, hey, breathing is a thing,
Yeah.
it's important. And it changed the industry.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, and what I was going to mention earlier was that you said something when we first started about you want to help people. So you became an EMT and this and that. Everybody that does this show, that's what they say. And I think that really is a nice, you're sheepishly to accept this. We already tried once off the air, but you're a helper. You're a service oriented people person, and you want to go, and I could see you doing those two things, then jumping into the restoration industry like you did. And I'm not surprised at all. It's a career of service, actually. And again, that's a statement, not really a question, but that's the way I see it.
Well, yesterday actually, I had a conversation with the manager of a large gym franchise, and we were talking about different things that could help his business out.
Hmm.
And he kept saying, well, what's in it for you? What's in it for you? I said, nothing. I'm not selling you anything. I'm not asking you to buy anything. I don't want you to spend any money. Just here's a suggestion. And he didn't know how to take that. He's so used to people trying to sell them something or take advantage of them. And
Hmm.
that's not what we do. Doug has a tagline that we use all the time. It's not about getting a license, it's about developing a successful business.
Hmm.
That's what we teach. And, we don't do it for what we're getting out of it. We're helping people. Our benefit is helping people, and then the good things come from that.
That is the textbook. I've heard the phrase content marketing, but that's basically what that is, a new form of marketing about. Yeah, we're gonna help the audience. We're gonna send a case study, do this and that. Eventually, yeah, and yeah, we sell this widget too, and maybe you might want to think about buying it. But that's like an afterthought. And after you gain their trust, as Normie does, then the money just comes in because you're quality and you've earned their trust. You're not just overtly asking for it, right? And I think that's great. That's the way all businesses should run these days. Some don't have the luxury, but
You mentioned the police department earlier, and a lot of what I learned from that was dealing with people, reading an audience.
yeah.
And it's a skill that every one of us in the service industry needs. You need to know who you're talking to.
Hmm.
And very often, for me, it's easier to put myself in the place of the person I'm dealing with. And that's how I can judge how I have to deal with this individual for their needs. I know personally that if somebody comes to my house and is very pushy and they're going to sell me something, and I don't want to deal with them. I'm immediately turned off to that. You know, it's very hard to sometimes explain to individuals in this industry that you might be selling a service, you might be selling a product, you really need to sell yourself first. Once the customer is comfortable with you, then you have a relationship and it's much easier to work with.
Yeah. They trust you and they have that mutual trust that you're really looking out for their best interest. I couldn't agree more, Lance. And you brought that and a lot more to NORMI. Now, we've been talking a lot over the last year. NORMI TV is exploding. NORMI Connect. I mean, what do you want to talk about as far as so much has changed in the last 12 months or 18 months with NORMI?
We actually started a little bit sooner than that, but it really went mainstream with what we're doing. Like you said, within the last 2 years. We've been running NORMI TV since 2017, 2018. So, but like everything else, it's a new concept and it takes a while to get some traction and move. Well, from watching the industry and watching what happened with COVID, we started to see that people like to get media in all different flavors,
Yeah.
all different ways of getting it, from Facebook to Instagram to Reddit to regular other social media platforms, ones that are popping up almost daily.
Yeah.
So to me, it made sense to, and here we come with the name NORMI Connect, connect with the audience on
Mhm.
their terms.
Mhm.
We can't say, hey, if you want to watch us, go to YouTube. And that's your option. Some people may not want to go to YouTube, it may confuse them. They may go to Instagram and want to watch, or Facebook or LinkedIn. So we broadcast our TV channel across all of those platforms at the same time.
Mhm.
So right now we're broadcasting, I believe it's on 7 or 8 platforms. When we do other live broadcasts like specialized trainings, we'll go across, I think it's up to 15 platforms. At the same time, simulcast it. And people can react with us and chat and everything else at the same time. Well, we found that a lot of people like that, but people work. Can you believe that? They have to travel to and from work.
I hate that
You can't
part.
watch video performances, video on demand while you're driving. So we looked into doing radio. We're now broadcasting simulcast broadcasting over 6 radio platforms. So people have their favorites there too. Whatever you want to listen to your internet radio on. So now they can listen while they drive in the car. And for those that are even beyond that, we went to podcasts.
Mhm.
We're on 13 podcast platforms. So wherever you want to find us, we're there.
And you're promoting it.
That's
And
the idea.
I've been fortunate enough to be a part of a couple of the episodes with you and Doug, and I was flattered to do that. I was taken back by when I first learned about what you were doing, that just how is everything scheduled. It's almost like a TV network in a way. This is scheduled then. You could promote, hey, you're going to be on, Jane Doe is going to be on at 4 o'clock. Make sure. And I thought it was well done. And you clearly put a lot of effort into it, and for good reasons. A lot of times, people put effort into things just to do effort, but this was targeted, and it's good. I love what you guys are doing. I've been outspoken about that all the whole way. I really, really enjoy what you're up to. And I like the fact that the experience is a sponsor this
Absolutely.
year. That we're very proud to do that. And this is where I have to mention that, don't forget, April 3rd to the 5th in Chattanooga, Tennessee, the experience is coming back. Our next event, the Chattanooga Convention Center. When this airs, you still will have time to get some early bird rates as attendee. There's plenty of space on the booths available. Contact me or the sales team, and some great stuff. We put the agenda up about 2 weeks ago. Love it. I'm so thrilled with the speakers coming, including Lance Eisen. Now, you've been a big part, you and Doug and the NORMI in general have been a huge part of the experience for years. I mean, do you remember the first time you went to the experience by any chance?
No, and you can't see it now, but hanging behind me, I have from the ceiling a hook with all the badges that I've gotten attending, and there's a lot of them up there. Actually, I put a second hook up now. It's over 10 years, I'd say, that I've been
Wonder,
attending the experience shows.
you've been a big sponsor of the experience as well. You're going to be recording and doing things this time too. Is there any great experience stories jump out that you want to share with everyone?
Well, we tried something new last year where we went live from the experience show across all of our platforms at the same time. And we were doing live interviews right there at our booth of all the movers and shakers, if you want to call it, in the industry. And it was fun. We had you there, you were talking with us, we did an interview, and again, we pushed that out over everything at the same time. And we had people all over the country watching what we were doing at the experience while we were there.
Yeah, it was creative, and I had a blast. It was funny. I thought it was funny. Maybe we need this time to get bigger signs, say you're on air or something. Because it was just funny. Everybody just came from talking to Lance during our interview, and me and so like, hey, we'll give
And-
us just 5 minutes.
but that adds to it because it's real.
Oh, I know.
It's real
It was
live,
funny. It was great.
and that's kind of what we went for there. And everybody was well behaved.
Mhm.
I mean, our booth was actually next to a bar, so it was
Yes.
really touchy, but no, it was good. We were very well behaved.
This is
And
the first time I've been. I'm sorry, Lance. The people want to be by the bar a lot in this industry. I've noticed a lot of my exhibitors have that same request, which is kind of funny. Go ahead. I mean, interrupt. Sorry.
oh no, I absolutely like that. It's a short walk. It's just like you said, we had a lot of people that were there, a lot of activity. It was nice to have people come in and sit down and talk with us.
No.
And actually, that's the way our booth is designed. It's a large booth
Mm-hmm.
with seating area.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we want. We don't want people coming to us, we can sell them something. We want people to come to us with questions, with concerns, with suggestions. And that's how we meet people at these events.
Your booth is going to be in the back of the hall, the major booth, right between the cleaning pavilion and the restoration pavilion, and where the lunch area is. So it's a perfect setting for everything. You're going to be in the belly of the beast. Go back and talk to Lance and have fun. What 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 would people be surprised to know about Lance? That's a question that came up a couple of weeks ago, and I think it's a good one.
I mean, I'm pretty much an open book. I do these types of things all the time, these interviews. I run interviews and I
Yeah.
do training several times a month online. So I do talk about my background because it's what helps me do what I do. And I try to encourage people to use your background as a tool to do what you
Yep.
do. But what would surprise people? Hey, it's like the story I told you before. It's the legitimacy of just wanting to help.
Yeah.
And people really are, yeah, I'm here to help you. They're always like grabbing for their wallet to make sure it's still there. No, that's really what we do at NORMI. It's about helping people in this industry.
Now, it's you are an open book, and that's why I was always attracted to you because you're a good guy, and you hated when I call you sir a
Yeah,
lot.
that's true.
Things of that
You just
nature.
do that because I'm older than you and you keep reminding me.
I think that one thing I want to remind everybody that may not be available at this point, but we're doing the tours of the Shaw flooring plant on April 2nd, the day before the event. As of today, I believe 15 of the 75 have been sold, and this will be out in 2 weeks. So it may not be, but if it's still available, I would highly recommend doing that. Get to our website, register for the event, then register for Shaw. It's $199. 3 tours all day, transportation, lunch, all that stuff. So, um, any last words you want for our people? Why do you think people should come and see us in Chattanooga, Lance?
Your show, the experience is different from any of the other shows that I've been to, whether it's your spring or your fall show. And it's not about going to be sold something. It's going to learn about things. And that is very different in the, if you want to call it the home show or the, convention show type market. Everybody's trying to sell their products. It's really about who you are and selling yourself and your services where people can touch them, try them right there. You're not shopping on an Amazon catalog to buy a $10,000 widget. You're touching them. I mean, I love walking around and watching the robots run around.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
robot cleaners and stuff. People aren't there trying to sell them. They're just showing the technology that's there. And we didn't mention this, but technology right now is exploding, and our industry is not exempt from that. It's really playing into the industry. And we have a lot of people in this industry that have been doing things the same way for 15, 20, 30 years.
Yeah.
Several reasons. One, technology is changing so quickly, it's hard to keep up, but people fear technology, new stuff, and change.
Right.
And you can't in this industry. Don't fear the technology, embrace it. You have to.
So
Your
many
show
times.
highlights it.
Good.
Your show
Yeah.
highlights. That's what I was saying.
Thank you, Lance. I think it's hands-on has been drummed into my head since I started a couple of years ago, and it's true. There's more hands-on experience at these events than anything I've ever seen. If you want to go and learn your craft, this is the place to be. And we're excited to have you. We're very excited to have you and NORMI be a part of be a partner with us. for this. I think that's a good place to end. I think that was beautiful. I learned a lot about Lance. That's what I wanted out of this. If people don't love you yet, they love you now, Lance. All right.
Well, I appreciate that, and thank you for the opportunity. Though I do have one question, because you did
Yes, sir.
start off by saying, we're good friends and everything else. I'm the 12th interview.
12th. Well, I'm building
Wow.
up to. We're building up to Chattanooga, man. It's a build.
Oh, okay. Good.
Don't tell Chuck Violan that, who was our first one. I'll tell him no. We start off with the best.
Yeah. Okay.
I told you, my big mouth talked me into doing 52 of these a year. So there's going to be a lot of people like the 40th that are going to be looking at me, shaking their head. But I thank you for being here. How's that? We'll leave with that. Hey,
Okay.
thank you. Make plans to attend the experience April 3rd through the 5th in lovely Chattanooga, Tennessee. You could register through our website, rnrmagonline.com. You can find this and all R&R videos and podcasts on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify. Please follow us if you haven't already, and feel free to leave a quick review. We'd love to hear from you. Also, please follow us on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. Very special thank you to our guest, Lance Eisen of NORMI. This is Trade Talks, Unlocking the Experience. Thanks for joining us. We look forward to seeing you again next week.